Boom. Oh, man, it's just not wanting to stay up, is it? What alarms are turned on? Set on for 8 p.m. Hmm. Hmm. Welcome back. Talking about stress, in particular, talking about money stress. And let me hit this real quick. I got a notification just popped up. Hold on. It's all future. Oh, okay. All right. Sorry about that. So, money stress. Um, I we've talked about before how money is not math, it's mental, right? And so stress is a mental condition. It is caused from us thinking about things that cause stress. And money definitely contributes to that. So what can we do to reduce that stress, that mental load that we feel from money? Well, we've talked about a financial foundation, and we talked about the emergency fund, for instance, which is specifically designed to reduce stress. It takes something that's uh, unexpected, and instead of it being a catastrophe, it's just an inconvenience, because you just take from your financial foundation, take your emergency fund, boom, adjust your financial foundation to replenish emergency fund, and you're back in business. There's no hardship that has to happen because of it if you have a properly funded emergency fund. So that's part of what we're talking about, is reducing the stress. So there's the unexpected things that come along. That's to be expected, actually. But then there's the things that we know are going to be happening. For instance, here in Texas in the summer, the electric bill is going to get kind of high in the summer. It's just going to happen. And maybe the gas bill gets high in the winter for heating costs. There are some things we can kind of count on. Christmas happens to come the same time every year, and yet a lot of people in January are trying to pay off things they bought in November and December, and they're trying to pay it off in February and in March, and hopefully before Christmas rolls around again, they've paid it off so they can start the whole crazy thing over again. Well, if we know these things are going to happen, why don't we plan for them? That helps reduce stress. Similarly, we know things are going to be up and down. We've got emergency fund to handle the unexpected, and we've got other mechanisms we can do to handle the expected. And if we could just make every month look identical, like if the expenses every month were the same, wouldn't it make it so much less stressful? Because it's going to be the same expenses every single month. And so when we were trying to build our financial foundation, that's what we started to do, was what can we do to make it so that every month is exactly the same financially? I'll help to hear people say, well, you need to set a new budget every month because every month's different. Why? Why not make every month the same? So part of that is, let's take the electric bill, for instance. Utilities in general, they go up and they go down. The ones that do vary. Internet bill, that generally doesn't change, but the ones that go up and down, like electric bill, for instance, we know it's going to go up and down. It's not going to be the same every month, but we can turn it to the same every month by paying either the average of the last 12 months or whatever the bill says. So for instance, let's say that your electric bill was maybe, $70 during the winter and $120 during the summer, just making up numbers. And so you go back through your last 12 months of bills, you add up all of the totals that were charged, you divide it by 12, you say, okay, that's my new baseline. So you got your baseline for your electric bill, and you say, okay, let's say it comes out to $95. Let's say make it crazier. It's $93. Okay. So, okay, $93 is my average for my electric bill over the last year. Well, what if I paid, and right now the bill's 120? Well, you want to pay what the bill is. But as soon as that starts going down under 93, well, let's round it up, say 95. So the average is 93. We're going to round it up a little bit to give us a little bit of buffer space. And let's say that we get in the winter and one of the bills hits $80. Well, instead of paying the $80, we're going to pay the 95. And over the winter, we're going to be stacking cash and they're going to be owing us money. But then as we get towards summer, it starts depleting it and it comes out, and you might have to increase it every once in a while. Prices generally tend to rise, but it makes it so that when you adjust it, it's like, oh, I'm now, instead of paying 95, I'm now paying 100 or 105. It's a whole lot better than paying an extra $50 or $60 that month and throwing everything off kilter. So the idea is take that electric bill that is really catastrophic in the summer, maybe you're in Texas, or the heating bill up north, and instead of paying the bill, pay the bill or the average, whichever one is higher. And eventually you'll just be paying the average. And that takes that electric bill and turns it into a monthly, it's the same every month, right? There are other things that kind of disrupt our every month is different paradigm. Let's say you have, well, here in Texas, all right, so our home is paid for, so we pay property taxes directly. That means that once a year, come January, we have to pay our property taxes. Well, when your property taxes come due, that's a big chunk of money. That would really upset the January budget, except we know it's coming. So we set aside some money every month and turn it into a monthly bill so that when January comes, there's an account with that money set aside and we just pay it. Car tires. Well, let's back up here in Texas. Your car battery is probably going to last about 3 years. The summer after his 3rd year anniversary is when it's going to die. Well, you know it's going to last 3 years. Just set aside the money every month for a battery divided by 36, whatever the cost of the battery is, divided by 36, and add that to an account every month. So when the battery dies in 3 years or before the battery even dies, you can replace the battery and you haven't disrupted your monthly expenses. And as you do this, you start turning it into, well, all right, we've got our regular varying stuff like utilities. We've got our intermittent stuff like, car battery or property taxes or, whatever other expenses you have that hit occasionally, but don't hit all the time. That's when you can take all of that and turn into it so your monthly expenses don't change. It's consistent, constant. And that reduces a lot of the stress that you have because now your expenses, you don't have that emotional, oh my goodness, I've got this crazy expense this month, except for emergencies. That's where your emergency fund comes in. So a fully funded emergency fund protects you against the unknown expenses that come. Now, one thing that was, we were trying to build our emergency fund, we were really frustrated to get to a month worth of expenses. We wanted to get to 3 months of expenses in our emergency fund. We got to a month and then emergency hit, went back down to half a month. We built it up at a little over a month and emergency hit, be just under a month. Oh, we get up to almost 2 months and emergency would hit. And you're like, oh man, these emergencies keep hitting. So what we realized was, you know what, if we take these emergencies that keep hitting, and the first time it hits, it's like, okay, it is an emergency, but we promised ourselves that we would never have an emergency hit us twice. So for instance, I mentioned car battery before. Our car battery died and it hit our emergency fund, several $100s, right? Replaced the car battery because it's dead. I realized, hey, car batteries last about 3 years. So take the cost of the car battery divided by 3, we started setting that aside. So anything that became an emergency, we said, well, if it's an emergency, we're going to analyze it and say, when could that possibly happen again? And start divide the cost by that many months before now and when it should happen again, and start setting that aside too. And we now have this long list of, I don't know, probably 30 or 40 things that we're setting a little bit of money aside because it hit us as an emergency. And now it's just something we set aside money on a regular basis, a little bit of money, $1 here, $2 there. And it adds up to whenever those things come again, it's planned now. And so now our emergency fund is protected because we really could have thought of some of these beforehand, but as emergencies happen, we don't think about it until it happens. Water heater was another one. Water heater went out. Okay. They last 8 to 10 years, depending on what you get and your water condition. And so it's like, all right, take the cost of the water heater and installation, divide it by say 8 years, and then divide that by 12 months, and then put that much aside every month automatically into a separate savings account, not a separate savings account for each one of these. We have a separate savings account. We have it labeled targeted. So this is all the targeted expenses. And I know some people call them sinking funds. The idea is that you're sinking this money in this account so that when the bill comes due, you have the money for it. And so those three tactics, having an emergency fund that's fully funded, using a targeted account for things that are not every month, and then paying the average of the things that vary every month, if it allows. Usually utilities, you can have them owe you money. Our water bill, electric bill, gas bill, they all owe us money. Actually, electric bills, middle of summer, they may not be owing us much money right now. But the idea is that you turn all of these expenses into regular monthly expenses that are consistent. And it reduces a lot of your financial stress because now every month is the same. It'll take a few months. It might take a couple of years actually to get things to the point where, all right, now nothing is unexpected. Everything is a consistent monthly expense. Now, if you are paying off debt, then the guidance I would give you is don't put anything towards your targeted account that you're not going to incur in the next 3 years. So for instance, we knew we'd eventually need a new roof. We just replaced our roof, but it with the tope and all the stuff on the insurance, it was going to be thousands and thousands of dollars while we were paying off debt. We said, you know what? It's more than 3 years out. We're not going to save for that just yet. We're going to focus on paying down debt. Because if we did everything that would ever happen to us and filled up our targeted, how much we're putting in there, it would take so much out of our paycheck and we wouldn't get money towards paying off our debt. So while we were paying down debt, we said anything that's over 3 years away is far enough in the future that we don't have to worry about it right now. So targeted account, absolutely fantastic. What we do is we write down, okay, here are the different categories. Here's how much the total is. Here's how many months. Here's the last time we did it. And the next time we're expecting it. And then we have an automatic transfer every time the paycheck hits to have a certain dollar amount be transferred over to and we just, when we add something to the list, we say, all right, that's maybe $2. All right, add $2 to the transfer. So every month there's a transfer that happens that's basically adding up all of those little bits of monthly expenses for those unexpected things. Not unexpected, for the planned longer term things, more than a month. And that automatically gets transferred out of our account. So it's a tool to help remove the financial stress. And the real financial stress removal happens when you pay off the last debt. So don't starve the debt payment for things that are beyond 3 years, but remove the stress right now so you can focus on what you're intending to focus on. Remember, the whole point with getting good with money is not to get good with money. The whole point of getting good with money is to get money out of the way so you can focus on what's important. You do focus on it for a short period of time, get the systems in place, build the habits, and then once you get it in place, you can set it aside, and then you can focus on what's really important. So the money stress, yes, it's wonderful to remove it, but it's to remove it so you can improve your focus on what's important to you. Hope you guys gained something important tonight, and I will catch you guys later.